Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Of course, my name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to yet another LEGO Marvel Superheroes Age of Ultron LEGO set review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Attack on Titan. Wait, no, Attack on Avengers Tower is what I meant to say. And of course, that was a terrible joke, but we will carry on because that's what we do. Nonetheless, this is a set that contains 515 pieces and of course features kind of only the top piece of the Avengers Tower, but still looking forward to checking it out. Still looks quite promising and cool. Certainly does feature some interesting minifigures for sure. I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about these Iron Legion figures. They kind of look a little oddballish, but I guess we'll see momentarily if they're actually cool. And then of course we also have the Ultron Mark 1 available, who is right there, and Thor and Iron Man Mark 43. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on ahead and take a look at what is truly inside this box. Alrighty guys, so here is of course the Avengers Tower itself, and my oh my is this thing super duper cool. So if you know me, you know that I typically would say I'm not a big fan of building well, that sounds weird because I'm reviewing a Lego set, but I'm not a big fan of when we have Lego sets that have buildings or portions of buildings for them, because usually, unless if you buy the really expensive and large sets, you end up with what we have here, and that is only one chunk of the tower, because of course the tower wouldn't be this short, so you can kind of see that this would be the very tip of the tower, but it wouldn't be the entire tower. There's a lot more tower down below. So with that in mind, usually I don't like that because it just feels incomplete. It feels like you're only getting one segment of a whole big picture, and that's why I'm not a big fan of it. However, with this scenario, it is actually done so quite well that I really do like it. I like the fact that we do get this like nice little build that works so lovely together. I think it looks very nice. I think all the translucent blue definitely makes it feel very futuristic and cool, very Tony Stark-esque in terms of the way that it looks, which is awesome. And then of course we have an incredible amount of features. So before we get to the inside of the tower, and I guess that's already kind of a feature in itself, we have, of course, this little area right here where basically what you can do is you could either launch characters at this to like knock it over, which is pretty cool. So this whole panel, this whole little landing area opens up, as you can see, but right below the landing, you'll notice that there's a little fold-out item, and that is, sorry, if I can actually get it to twist around. Come on, I know you're there. I know you're there. There we go. So we have these little turrets that can actually defend us. So basically it's like an actual security system in place, which is pretty awesome. And the way that it works is, of course, the little flick fire action, and you just fire away the little studs right there. And you have tons and tons of studs. They give you extras. And I mean, when they give you extras, they give you extras. Like there's probably 10 extra studs, which is absolutely awesome. Now, of course, both of them have those little turrets, so that's absolutely awesome sauce. Then let's move on to the lower area of the tower right down here, and that is of course where we could see the two Iron Legions, and they look quite phenomenal, do they not? I definitely think so. I think they look quite cool indeed. And basically the way that this whole assembly works, first of all, we have little taglines for each one of the legions, which is cool. All that is done through sticker work, which is quite awesome. But basically what you can do is you can launch the legion out of this position. So basically this is supposed to recreate the idea that Ultron has taken control of the Iron Legions, and now they will launch themselves out of their specified platforms and fly off, which is pretty awesome. So that's really cool little feature there to kind of simulate the idea of breaking glass or shattering a chamber without actually breaking glass or shattering a chamber. So that's very smart. Both of them do come out in the same manner. As you can see, they both slide out like so. So that's pretty sweet. I definitely like that. And once again, really nice details with the sticker work. Speaking of shattering things and breaking things, let's move up a little bit, just one level up to the tower, to the second floor of the tower, I guess. And what we have here is, you might have noticed these little levies or levers or whatever you want to call them, and if we push on them, if we push them forwards, bam, we can fly and push away the glass on the inside, which is pretty awesome. So the idea is behind that, of course, that is Ultron himself in there, and we'll look at him momentarily, but of course the idea is that you get to push him out of his chamber as well, and as he breaks out, maybe after that, he breaks out the Iron Legions, which is absolutely awesome sauce. Now I want to also get a little bit of a close-up here of what the tower looks like from the outside, like the actual rooms. I think they look incredibly cool. This translucent translucent effect works so well to give that kind of realistic and futuristic look. So I really like it quite a bit. So I definitely think it looks absolutely awesome. You could see the Iron Legions right there, the back of them, which is quite cool indeed. And then of course if we move up a layer higher, which is where Tony's center is, you can definitely see some cool stuff, including a nicely hidden pistol right down there, which is quite cool as well. And of course Tony himself, so that's pretty awesome sauce. Then of course there's some lovely sticker work right here on the sides of the tower, which took a while. This is actually, I think, how many stickers was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 stickers to assemble this whole little thing, or big thing. And I think it looks incredibly cool. I tried to do my best in terms of aligning them. I know they're a little bit off, but that's just, it is what it is. I know that I won't get it perfect, but I certainly did try. And then of course on the back side here, we can see also similar design, not quite as large, but still looks quite cool as well. And then of course, right up here, I have Thor hanging out up at the top here. But we have this final kind of a cap piece to the entire tower, and the way that this whole thing works is also quite cool. So first of all, we have another defense system built in place, as you can see right here. So these two items can fire off like so it comes down and then fires at your enemies. But additionally to that, you have a nice little robot right here that can help you out and monitor the areas, which is pretty awesome sauce. So as you can see, we have like nice little blasters right here in the front, and then wings that have some nice detail through sticker work again. And of course, as you can see, this is a Stark Tower piece. Again, very simple. Kind of reminds me of Wall-E for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe the big eyes or something like that. But it just looks cool, and I like the way that it houses in there. You can definitely see that Tony kind of looks for the most functionality while also having proper security. So it's really cool in that regard for sure. But now, of course, let's go on ahead and open up the tower, because that's where half of the details and half of the fun comes from. It's from the inside of the actual tower. So let's go ahead and slide it on open, and now we kind of get a nice inside view, which again, I really love the fact that this thing comes together to look complete and whole, and then you can separate it and open it up like this to where it's more kind of like a dollhouse, or like, you know, one of those like more play driven things. So I really like that quite a bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at the each and every level. So obviously on the inside here, we can see the same kind of thing. We can push the actual Iron Legions from this side. It's actually easier to do so you can do that there. There's a nice little fire hydrant for extra detail. Right here we have an analysis bay where you can obviously lay Mr. Tony Stark. Let's say he's feeling ill or something, you could lay him down, or maybe all of the other Avengers. There's a little analysis sticker over there as well. And then we have right here opening little trays, and they have a little what is it called? The syringe. There we go. So that's the word that I was looking for. And both of those open up, which is pretty awesome sauce indeed. So then the layer up above that one, which is of course the second layer, and that's where we see Ultron himself being assembled right here. So this is Ultron Mark 1, or the of course prototype of Ultron. As you can see, it's we'll take a look at the minifigure momentarily, but it's pretty cool because it's got like actual like rotating arms that are working on him. And the really cool thing is, and they didn't actually even show this on the packaging. I think it's cool because you can use those same levers that I've used before to break the glasses open. You can use those to move the arms, which is pretty cool. So if you have the arm like aligned like that, you could move that lever, and then that would move the arm. So that's pretty cool. So it's kind of almost like dual play value. Obviously, as you can see, this is kind of the assembly chamber for him. As he rotates around, these arms are putting him together and such. In fact, you could even see right there, there's his head, still not fully on his torso, so obviously he's still being put together, which is quite cool indeed. Then on this side, we can see the actual Loki serpent, or the Loki staff, which is quite cool, because of course Tony took control of that, and I guess he's housing it in the Avengers Tower, which I'm not sure how good of an idea that is. I guess we'll find out in the future. There's also a little scanning device right there for the actual item, so that's kind of cool. And I'm guessing that actually, spoiler alert, in the film, they try to steal this, and this is part of the reason why Ultron gets more and more powerful, because on the packaging we see the Iron Legion running away with one of these, so that's a bit of a spoiler there, I'm guessing, maybe for the film. So let's move on to the third and final layer of the Avengers Tower. So of course, as you can see, we have a really intricate 3-layered computer system that does unfold inwards, or so I guess maybe folds inwards, which is quite cool. Again, kind of to go off the whole, you know, translucent thing that Tony loves, like when you see him in the movies, like touching invisible stuff, and it's like, it's really cool and neat looking. So they went ahead and did that same effect through translucent plastic, and then with that, you get some sticker work to bring it to life. And then, of course, right here on the back, as I mentioned before, there's a pistol. In fact, there's also another hidden pistol on this side, which is, of course, this is kind of more of Tony's reception room where he would just be expecting guests, and as you can see, I guess maybe he was drinking some champagne or something. But the cool thing is that this whole thing lifts up, and then on the inside, it's a nice little bay, and you have another gun hidden away over there. And the packaging shows Thor using this, but to me it's like, why would Thor ever want to go get a gun? Like, it just does not make any sense. Thor would be the last guy to go for a gun. Him and Hulk would be the last characters on the Avengers to go for the gun. But nonetheless, of course, there you guys have it. That is the Avengers Tower itself. But now, let's go on ahead and take a look at the minifigures in this set. Guys, so we kick things off with the one and only, the God of Thunder. From down under, actually, of course, Mr. Thor. Now, I know that some people might be a little bit shocked by the fact that this is shocked. You see what I did there? No pun intended. Well, I guess pun intended. But nonetheless, of course, this is probably my least favorite minifigure out of this lineup. I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of same old, same old. Like, there's nothing too significantly different. It just feels a little bit uninspired in my mind. Again, the print work is decent on the torso. Nothing too interesting to it, of course. That's just probably because that's the armor that he's wearing, so they can't really just go crazy with it and make him look whichever way they'd like. The leggings don't have any print work. It's just kind of almost like plain jeans or something like that. He does sport, of course, the new cloth actual cape, so I do like that. That's a nice little touch. I think Mjolnir could use some more applications in terms of maybe actually have some lettering and such, and a different color. I think that would be cool if it was a little bit of a darker color and then make the lettering this color, this kind of grayish color. I think that would work great. Speaking of color, I actually don't know why I don't like this color for the hairpiece. I kind of wish that it would have been like a darker color or something like that, more close towards what his facial hair is. But on the bright side, you do have two different expressions for Mr. Thor as well. Additionally, by the way, he does have print work right here on the back, so that continues his Asgardian armor. And then on the back, of course, as you can see, there is his angry face, and I actually think that that one looks a little bit better with this hairpiece. Alrighty, guys, and next up is, of course, the Iron Legion, which are going to be kind of, I guess, the minions, the evil minions that started up good, I guess, because as you can see, they have Avengers logos all over themselves, but then turned evil when Ultron took control of them. Now, in this set, you actually end up getting 2 Iron Legions. I kind of wish that the set would have offered 3. I think that would have been a much better value proposition. That's really my only downside in terms of the amount of parts and the amount of money that you have to pay for this set. I wish that we would have gotten another Iron Legion, because I think 3 would have been a really, really nice number for this set. But it's a pretty cool little armor. I actually really like the design of it. It almost looks like, kind of like a medic Iron Man suit. Like, to me, that's what I'm thinking of, is like a medic class type suit, which is quite cool. As I mentioned before, some Avengers logos throughout, which looks quite cool. On the back there, obviously some more armor detail continued. I kind of wish there would be some more detail on the legs. Again, would have been nice. As you can see on the front, we have some details. Would have been kind of cool to see some sort of print work back here as well, just to bring it together a little bit further. The helmet is actually the exact same sculpt, but it is painted differently to the Iron Man helmet. So for example, here's the Iron Man helmet. As you can see, it's the same look for the helmet, but the actual paint and such is quite different. The inside of the helmet, or the head that you might be wondering about, is just kind of like a pure energy, which is what we saw with Ultron on the Ultron Prime set. You remember they used a similar kind of thing where they use a translucent orange. So it's kind of cool to see that I guess Ultron is going to use this crazy power of some sort to power these things, which is quite awesome sauce. So I do like that quite a bit. And speaking of Ultron, here's Ultron Mark 1. And I guess technically speaking, I guess I could argue the fact that there are 3 Iron Legions in here, because you can totally see that this suit or this Mark 1 has been basically a torn down version of the Iron Legion, because you can see the Avengers logo right there. You can see some of the white details and such. It's almost like an unfinished version of the Iron Legion. Now, I know that some people have brought up the point that it's kind of upsetting that we're getting so many Ultrons. Like, people are saying, okay, I don't want to get like Ultron Mark 1, Ultron Prime, Ultimate Ultron. Like, it's enough is enough. But to me, I actually think it's kind of neat. It's especially because that's going to play a factor in the movie. We're going to see Ultron go through these multiple multiple iterations to become his ultimate form. So it's kind of cool that we get to have minifigures to represent each one of those forms. So in my mind, I'm actually all on board in that regard, so I definitely do like that quite a bit. I think his face is absolutely menacing and gruesome. He kind of almost looks like Ghost Rider or something crazy like that. I really like the translucent mask idea with just basically torn up metal everywhere, and you can see that he is just a hunk of junk and just a whole bunch of pieces thrown together to make this menacing and crazy AI. Alrighty guys, and last but certainly not least in this set is of course Mr. Robert Downey Jr. or of course Tony Stark himself, and that is Iron Man. More specifically, Iron Man Mark 43 is the mark for this particular set, and I gotta say, I really love the fact that they give you a hairpiece. And I know that some people are gonna say, well, wait a minute, how is that a big deal? But I don't know, I just feel like it's really cool to have the option to display Iron Man not only in his helmeted mode, which of course we have right here. So the switch is actually quite simple. You just tug that off and then switch that on there, and there you go, and you got yourself armed and masked Iron Man. Of course, you can flip up the faceplate there to reveal his face, which is nice and all, but I just think that a lot of times we see Iron Man in the suit but not wearing the helmet, so it's kind of cool to be able to actually take off the helmet and have him displayed this way. However, he's not bald, so he should have a hairpiece. That's what I said with the City Chase set, and in fact, I think any Iron Man set from now on, if you have an Iron Man in there, give us the mask, but also give us a hairpiece to replace the mask if we want him displayed this way. So I prefer this display route that they went with. Then again, of course, this is the completed Iron Man look per se. As you can see, some lovely print work on the chest right there to go along with the whole Mark 43 theme that we have going on. Some lovely print work on the back as well with some metallic paint, so that looks cool, white, nice, and awesome sauce. Absolutely love that as well. And then, of course, if you're wondering about a different feature in terms of expression, yes, indeed, we do have two different facial animations or expressions for Mr. Tony Stark, so you can go ahead and also display him with that expression. Alrighty guys, so there you have it. I hope that you guys enjoyed the review for the Attack on Avengers Tower Lego Marvel Superheroes Age of Ultron set. I certainly am super duper happy with the way that this set has turned out. I don't know if it's my favorite set quite yet, but I really like the way that it has come together and just all of the cool little features that it has to offer. And more importantly, I think, in my opinion, if this set kind of hints towards what's going to happen in the movie, I think this set has been the most spoilery of the bunch, because, I mean, the Thor chase scene, the Hydra showdown, whatever it was called, I forgot the specific name for it, but that said, just basically said, hey, there might be a chase scene. Then, of course, the city chase specifically told us there's going to be a city chase where there might be a chance where Ultron is trying to take Vision down, which is definitely also kind of spoilery for the movie. But this set also reveals to us that when Ultron breaks out from the Avengers Tower, and he will be taking control of the Iron Legions, and then additionally to that, they will potentially be stealing Loki's staff, which is quite an interesting point indeed. So there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed today's review. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button. If we could hit 1,000 likes, that would be absolutely spectacular. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators.